It's up for grabs now!
Magic ball from Bergkamp to Patrick Vieira!
Oh, would you believe it? Oh, right, what a way to get it!
Fabulous solo goal by Thierry Henry.
Champions.
Good evening and welcome to the Arsenal Lounge, our midweek special. It's a new segment called Midweek Peek. I was going to call it Midweek Peek. I'm still not sure, so let us know if you think we should be changing that. But I've got some guests I'm going to welcome. Debutant first from over and over and over again, Gunnar Rich. How you doing? Rich B, should I call you? That sounds like an 80s or 90s rapper, doesn't it, Rich B?
Yeah, well, you know, I've got my 80s shirt on, so I'm a bit retro anyway, so that's fine. That sounds cool.
True say. Welcome on board, and I'm going to be interested to hear your points. How you been anyway? All right, good?
Yeah, good, not bad. I've recovered from the weekend disaster and the transfer window deadline and everything else. So looking forward to September now. The season starts from here. So, yeah, I'm upbeat and optimistic probably for the next 10 minutes.
All right, great. Good to know. And Albertjtv in the house. He's been on our show a few times, and we've got him on transfer deadline day, and he's come across to give us his views. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, Les Machine, man. Pleasure. Good to share the platform with you guys always. So, yeah, working hard. Yeah, no,
and
thank you.
I saved the best till last, of course. My co-host, my co-founder, the man who knows a lot more than he lets on. He's got some inside info, and he's a Tomiyasu expert as well. So we're going to drill him on Tomiyasu later on. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, man, I'm good. Just a little bit of a headache, but I'm good. Apart from that, as Richard said, just anxious for the season to start and see how is this going to unfold.
You're actually anxious for it to start. I'm anxious for it. I'm anxious.
No, I'm anxious. How is it going to unfold? That's why
I'm anxious how it's going to end, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But look, so the whole point of this show is what we want to try and do on a weekly basis is go through the news over the week, pick out two subjects, one high, one low, and a lot of you guys in the comments have put quite a few things in, and they're interested. And if you want us to sort of touch on anything, throw it in the chat. So the whole point of this is basically we're going to go around these guys, and each one's going to bring two to the table, one high, one low, and we're going to discuss them. All right? So it's going to be interesting. We generally don't know what people are going to come up with. So I'm going to... How are we going to start this? I mean, I was going to go myself, but I'm going to leave it a little bit. So I think I'm going to start with our debutant. Over and over again, Gunnar Rich B in the house. He's going to rap this, by the way. So, bro, let's start with your high, and we'll go through the highs first, and then we'll touch on the lows. So hit me with your high for the week.
I mean, I think for me, there's not been a lot of highs, if we're totally honest. You have to look quite hard to find them. But for me, I suppose it's really the Willian situation, paying off the remainder of his contract to get out of the club. It's obviously saved us a lot of money in wages and the rest of his contract. And, it's a shame that other players haven't followed suit, and it kind of shows. I think we gave him a lot of stick in the time he was at the club because his performances on the pitch was not up to the standard that we expected. But to be fair, he's come through at the end and he's done the right thing. And it's very unusual in these days of where players seem to be focused so much on money and contracts that he's done that, and he's helped the club out, which, for somebody like Willian, who, he was liking Chelsea's tweet when they beat us the other week, for him to actually come out and do that, I think that's fantastic, actually. And, full credit to him. Because he didn't have to do it, did he? He could have dug his heels in like Ozil did and other players have done, but he decided to do the right thing. He knew it wasn't working for him at Arsenal, and he knew the best way to get out and to start a new stage in his career was to do that. And he's basically come out of his own pocket. Yeah, he can afford it. Let's not beat around the bush about it. But he didn't have to do it, did he? And so I say fair play to him. And to me, that's a massive positive. And he's gone massively up in my estimations. And I think we'll all wish him well in the next stage of his career back in Brazil.
Says a lot about a player when his estimations go up because he's leaving. But I guess
that's half our team, mate. That's half our team. They all go up in my estimations when they leave.
This is how we're struggling for high points this week. So this is why I started with this one, because I knew this was probably going to take longer than low points. We've got so many low points. It's unreal. So basically what you're saying, and just to touch on it, is he basically ripped up his contract. I think it was worth 20 million. I mean, you say he can afford it, but bloody hell, how rich is this guy if he can afford to rip up 20 million and walk away? I mean, he's certainly not going to get that at Corinthians. There were rumors, I think, who else was in for him, and they didn't sort of act quick enough. I think someone.
I think it was this Arab Al Ahly or something.
No, there was someone from like Serie A as well, I think.
Trying to think.
I think it was. Yeah, I think there was rumours of that.
Guys in the chat, if you remember who was potentially in for Willian from Serie A, let us know. It seems to have escaped us. I think we've got a deadline day hangover. But yeah, I mean, that's fair enough. Guys, you want to comment on the Willian situation? Anyone want to drop in anything? Leon, someone's saying Leon.
That's it.
Leon,
so it was League 1, by the way. I think it is. That's my French. That's enough of my French. Anyone want to comment on the Willian situation? You think Milan? I was right. It was Milan.
Yeah, it was AC Milan. Yeah.
Thank you.
I agree with Richard. It's we've got to respect the guy for doing that, because he could have just sat here and collect the salary. It's not his fault that Arsenal have given him that contract. He didn't force his way to come to Arsenal, but he did the right thing. He wanted to play. Obviously, what's happening behind the scenes at Arsenal was not really. It wasn't happening for him. He didn't like it. He didn't want to stick around. He didn't see himself fitting in a system. So he's packed it in and he's gone to another team. And fair dues to him. I see Didier Drogba has come out with some bullshit regarding that as well, with some tweets. Have you seen that?
No. What was he saying?
Well, that's harsh.
Oh, he said, "Thank you, Willian, for doing the job, and Agent Willian, just like Agent Louise and Agent Czech, and
wow,
all that rubbish."
Times have changed, isn't it?
Man, listen, there's loads I want to discuss about that side of things. So, I mean, that's a fair point, Rich, to be honest with you. I mean, Albert, do you want to touch on it at all? Or, with the Willian thing, or you share the same sentiments? Any difference in opinion with that?
No, I just kind of concur with you guys. I was quite surprised when the tweet broke that he was going to, in terms of the contract being terminated and him. You're right. He could have sat there like a lot of many Arsenal players are currently doing, which I'm sure we'll touch on later. So no, fair play to him. I'd have to respect him for that, if I'm being honest.
Fair enough. Yeah. So that's Rich's high point, and that's how we're struggling. One of our players leaving and ripping up a contract is a high point. Thank you, Rich. So I'm going to go to Albert now. Bring your high point to the table, man. What is it? Give me something better than that. Give me something better than someone ripping up a contract and leaving. Come on, man.
Mine are not ones you could touch on Arsenal a little bit, but two, they're not really. The first one was sort of the changes from obviously IFAB brought in for the referees to have more directive this season going into the Premier League season. And I think what we saw in the Euros is how refereeing should be implemented more in the Premier League. I would think the only game I saw in the Euros that I thought was a bit of a letdown in terms of officiating was the actual final. I thought the referee was awful. But generally, I thought the standard is that's how it should be. That's how it should be implemented going forward in the Premier League. I think I saw a stat that in terms of penalties given last season, 125. That's insane. So now the directive, So now
how many of those were for Arsenal, by the way?
Against Arsenal.
Against Arsenal.
That's what I meant. Many of them were against us, weren't they?
Yeah, it's mad. So I thought I knew there was a lot of penalties, but even I was shocked to realize it was that many. But I think the problem is the fact that where there was any contact whatsoever in the box, instant penalty.
Yeah.
But now the referees are being told it's the force of the contact as opposed to just getting the contact. Because it used to drive me mad because it's like just because there's contact in the box, it doesn't make it a penalty. So, in terms of players will always try it. Players will always try it, regardless of whatever league or internationally. But if the referees have been given a directive to stamp it out in terms of penalties, then it needs to be done. And the other one quickly, Levs, was the offsides, which was farcical, absolutely farcical last season.
With the lines and all of that, and the shoelace being offside, or someone a bit more well endowed gets offside, and all that sort of shit.
Yeah. Sort of you will see a lot more goals this season. You will, because if they're saying that the lines are going to be thicker and they're going to give more of a benefit to the attacking team, which, to be honest, it should be if you're giving offsides for the offsides they gave last season, because it was ludicrous. So for me, that is a high point, because you're going to get teams scoring goals that are legitimate rather than it being pulled offside because they're, their fingernails offside. So that is a high point and a positive.
Okay, I would probably agree with you on the offside thing.
Yeah.
But I'm a bit still I'm a bit unsure about this penalty situation, right? Because I still think it's still contentious. Let's look at it. What was the game with Saka for me was fouled, right?
Chelsea, the
Chelsea game clearly fouled, right? Any day of the week, that's a penalty. But then it wasn't given. But then that's clear contact, surely. But then, I don't think it's the rules that are the issue. I think it's the application of because implementing these rules, you still have humans behind it, and humans can either be biased or they can make mistakes. And until that's rectified, you can come up with any rule you want. But if you're giving it to a human to come and make a decision on it, he could, one guy 1 week can say, it's okay, it's a foul. Then the next guy next week can say it's not. And it's generally against us. It happens quite often. I mean, I'll put it out to you guys. I'll start with Rich. I mean, you've heard what Albert has to say. Do you agree that these are high points?
The offside, definitely. I mean, I've noticed that they're not spending 10 minutes, are they, deciding whether it's offside or not. They're looking at it maybe once and saying, yes, okay, that's fine, we'll give the goal. And it is going to lead to more goals. Unfortunately, it's not really benefiting us because we still can't manage to score one. But I'm sure it will benefit us at some stage, at some point in the season, maybe before Christmas if we're lucky. But so I think that's definitely a high point with the offsides. With the fouls and the penalties and stuff, obviously you made a good point, Lev, about the Saka one in the Chelsea game. I mean, that's probably as clear a penalty as you can get. And I don't even think he went to look at the screen, did he? The referee on the pitch.
No.
And then
they dismissed it very quickly.
Yeah, and then you had obviously the Xhaka red card at Manchester City. I'm not saying it wasn't a red card, but again, the referee didn't go over to the screen. And we've seen referees in other games go to the screen and either give the same decision they originally gave or change it. But at least they've gone to the screen and had a look. But those two particular incidents involving us, as usual, it seems as though referees are quite happy if it's against Arsenal not to bother checking it. And if it's maybe going to go against us, then they may well check it, or other teams. I mean, that's the thing that annoys me with it, really. It seems like what they need to do is, I think, bring a rule in that if VAR have said to the referee on the pitch, we're not sure about this, the referee has to look at the screen. If there's any doubt, the referee has to go and look at the screen, and then the referee can then make give a second opinion on what he's originally given. And if he agrees with his original decision, fine, go with that. And if he thinks, actually, no, you're right, I maybe got that one wrong, then he changes it. But you can't have some referees going to the screen and some referees not for what are essentially the same type of incident. And there needs to be something put in place maybe to make sure that they all go to check the screen. If there's any sort of doubt, whether VAR are telling them there's a doubt, or if the referee maybe gives something and then he's thinking to himself, was that right? I want to look at the screen. That's what it's for, surely. And they're not using it, are they? And they didn't really use it that much in the Euros. I mean, they did, but not as much as they maybe could have done again. But they did use it more, and that was a positive. And I agree with Albert about the Euros. I thought the refereeing in the Euros was much better than anything we've ever seen in the Premier League since VAR's come in, and even before that, to be fair. And it shows that VAR isn't the problem. VAR works if it's used properly. Our referees are too stubborn or whatever it is, or just not good enough to be able to implement the new technology in the best way to make it work properly for our Premier League. And our league's supposed to be the best in the world or whatever it is, and we've got the worst referees. And this has been the case for a long time as well. Why isn't that being addressed? I mean, any changes that are positive, I agree with Albert, that's a plus, definitely, because the last couple of seasons with VAR have been a disaster. And if they're going to change things to make it better, and there's early signs that may be happening to a certain degree, and that's great. But my worry is that while we've got this same pool of referees, which are the same pool of referees we've had for quite a long time, there isn't many new referees coming in, one or two here and there, we're never going to improve the situation, are we? It's like, it's the same with your team, isn't it? If you keep the same players that aren't performing, you're not going to improve. And if you keep the same pool of referees that aren't doing the job in the right way, the best way, we're never going to see the improvements. Right? They can change the rules all they like, but as you said, Lev, there's humans making these decisions, and unfortunately, the humans in our league have consistently made bad calls, haven't they? Got decisions wrong constantly. And VAR is supposed to be there to stop that from happening as often, and it's not really worked.
Well,
and
humans, some of them aren't human, in my opinion. If you want to ask some of these referees, I mean, I'll move this on to Shaheen, but that's a good point as well, Rich, right? Because the Xhaka one was a red card, but then you had I know it's not quite penalties, Albert, but we're still like, it's all about the application, the implementation, as we were saying. Then you had Pogba, clearly a red card. Right, and that wasn't given. Shaheen, you've heard what Albert's saying and what Rich is saying in regards to the rule changes. Albert saying it's some positive rule changes. I agree with the offside thing. The penalties, are they clearer for you? Is there a clear improvement for you?
Listen, well, actually, you know what? I was actually going to say this at the beginning before I speak, but I forgot, so I'll say it now. I just want to say, obviously, today would have been Jose Antonio Reyes' birthday, so God rest his soul. Happy birthday to you, my friend, and thank you for all the goals you scored.
Quality player.
I remember when we signed him. Listen, this referee business has never been clear. I like the fact that they're now going to the screens to watch it more, and apparently they're gonna let the game run or flow a bit more this season. And it's gonna. I like that. They're gonna let that physicality to come back into the game. Because maybe we're gonna see things like Pogba and Xhaka thing until they get it right a little bit, because they need to find the balance between, I don't know, red card and not a red card. And I remember Patrick Vieira used to make some serious tackles, and I think he would have got sent off every week if he was playing.
What about Roy Keane?
Keane put into
so they need to get the balance right with that. But I agree. I think Pogba's challenge was maybe worse than Xhaka's to a certain degree, because he was not wearing shin pads,
and he caught him.
He actually caught him. Well, and then they went on to score.
If he'd gone to the screen, he would have seen he'd caught him and he would have sent him off. But he didn't go to the screen, did he? Because it was Mike Dean, and Mike Dean doesn't want to be wrong about anything, does he? So he doesn't want to go to the screen to check in case he's got it wrong. He's just going to stick with what he originally said, and maybe he'll take the stick afterwards. That seems to be his policy, which is crazy when you've got the technology to put these things right, which is what we all want.
I agree. And there was another incident as well. I don't know who. I think it was Leicester, where I think Anthony Taylor was the referee, and I think he went to check something on a screen, but it was very quick, and he came back and he sent the guy off. And the argument was that you saw a picture, you didn't see.
That was Perez. Was that the Perez one?
No, it was just this weekend, man.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Leicester, I think.
Yeah, wasn't it Perez that got sent? Who got sent off?
Who's Perez, bro?
Against West Ham.
I think it was the defender, the Turkish guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so, if I'm not mistaken, right? But it was something like that, and I think we're gonna have these sort of decisions a little bit until they actually get it right. And I think Richard is right. We do have the best league, and unfortunately, we don't have the best referees or the systems here. And maybe because it's fast, maybe because it's quite quick, maybe because there's a lot of attention on it. I don't know, but I hope that they can get it right, because sometimes it just ruins the games. Like, I'm not saying if Xhaka didn't get sent off, Arsenal wouldn't have lost. No, but after that, it makes the game meaningless, because we all knew we were going to lose, but now it's about, I don't know, it just makes the game meaningless. It takes that excitement out of the game.
It was Soyuncu. Thank you.
It was Soyuncu, and I think it was Perez as well for Leicester against Newcastle, if I'm not mistaken.
Thank you, Lagwan Amini. I think Lagwan Amini said that. Thank you, mate. Yes, guys, everyone, just quick hello to everyone in the chats. We got Dom in the house, Mr. Arsenal podcast in the house, Lewis White, Ryan, Lagwan Amini, Ryan Williams AFC, Cameron. All you guys, thank you for joining us. Everyone's saying Mike Dean makes it about Mike Dean, for example.
Yeah, always has.
Do you think, and I'll put this out into the chat as well, I know it's easy to do this, right? Because we're Arsenal fans and we think the whole world's against us. But do you actually believe there's a different approach when it comes to us? I've felt over the last 2, 3, maybe 4 seasons, even further back. I mean, you look at the time when I think it was the Man United game when they beat they finished our unbeaten run, and Rooney
Blatant
by
dive.
the box.
Yeah.
You know, there was loads of fouls on. I think the game. What about the game with Reyes? Even further back when Reyes was getting that
Gary
treatment.
Neville used to.
Gary Neville, yeah.
That
We
game,
can
yeah.
all see it.
Yeah.
Do you think there's some sort of issue with regards to Arsenal with the officials and you know the people behind the scenes? Because I do. I'm not going to lie about it.
I think there is, and people might say, "Oh yeah, but you lost your unbeaten run." But no, look, when we went to OT and won the league, United kicked absolute lumps out of Arsenal that night.
Oh, Reyes is in particular.
It was ridiculous. With the Wilco goal, yeah, they Keane, get Phil Neville. Some of the tackles were atrocious, and nothing was done. No yellow
You know what,
cards,
Albert?
nothing.
I'll never forget that penalty that Sol Campbell apparently fouled Wayne Rooney in a box.
Oh, when he pulled back.
A penalty.
Yeah.
That was never a penalty.
Never. But no, yeah, I do. Even, you know what? There was sort of someone did like I don't know, maybe I saw it on Twitter or YouTube. I can't remember. There's like a highlights reel of the decisions Arsenal didn't get. There's one that just came to my mind was we played Sheffield United away, and the blatant tug foul on Socrates. It's a league match. It was ridiculous.
In the box.
It was a blatant penalty. Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
Did they review it? I can't remember. But the fact it never got given, I couldn't believe it.
Madness. I constantly feel that way. When I watch a game, I like the Pogba situation only the other day. You see that Xhaka, you know, if he does one thing wrong, the odds are he's going to get sent off. Teams get away with murder in other games when I watch it, and it just, mate, it's crazy. But look, is what it is. Shaheen,
Yes, mate.
give me your high point, bro.
You
look really excited for this high point, by the way. You look like you're in.
Listen, it's very difficult for me. It's very hard to find something positive right now with everything that has been happening. I saw a lot of people are very pleased or they're happy about the transfer business we've done, and that's fair enough. That's their view. You know, it's cool. You're entitled to it, but I'm not, and I'm finding this hard right now to be positive about Arsenal in any way. I see things coming out with, you know, betting companies mocking us, other fans mocking us, all of that. And it's hard right now being an Arsenal fan. The only positive for me right now, I'll be very honest with you, is the window is done. We've done the business, bad or good, which I'm sure you're going to come to at some point. It's done. We're at international break now. So it gives us a chance to get people, maybe bring him up to speed, get Thomas Partey sorted out. So when we come back from international, he's back because he's massive for Arsenal. He's probably, I don't know, but he's, in my view, he's the only world-class player at Arsenal Football Club right now.
World-class. You're going world-class with him.
Yeah. I rate Thomas. He reminds me of Patrick Vieira. He does. But then he's not. He doesn't play.
You can't be calling him that yet, in my opinion.
No. He does. The way he plays, man. The way he plays, he does remind me. Or it's either that, or we haven't had such a great player in centre midfield for a while that he looks even better now.
That's probably it.
Yeah, but I'm just happy that, you know, this is done. It's going to give us some time off to get players up to speed, sort things out, and then we'll go again. That's the only positive for me right now.
Oh, look, the positive's not going to take long for me either, bro. So I mean, you know, I'll hit you with my positive and just get it out of the way because it is what it is. I will say exactly, pretty similar to yours. The fact we got rid of some dross is my high point. In particular, Bellerin for me, right? I know. Rich thinks like it, and you know we can bring this up in a bit. Rich, with your opinion, I'll drop it to you. But Bellerin for me hasn't been any good as a right back for a good 3 or 4 years. He's been weak, in my opinion. And how we've sat back and watched this guy play week in, week out. And you know, you can blame injury if you want. If it is injury, I feel sorry for the lad, whatever it is. But then injury might take your pace away, a yard off you. Okay, but the rest of his play, his positional sense, his strength on the ball, does that go as well with an injury? I don't think so. You know, so for me, Bellerin going was a high point, along with Torreira going. I personally, although I would say I probably would have preferred El Neni to go. Right?
I would have kept Torreira over El Neni
all day long. But the fact is, we're getting rid of some. Runarsson going is a massive high point. Like that guy, it was like having a sieve in goal. right? Like I don't understand where we got this guy from, and I don't even know the team that's taken him. I don't even know who.
No, I've never heard of him, to be honest.
OV Loin or something like that. I think some Belgian team. And imagine Bellerin is meant to be playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world, and the only team that wants him at his peak, at his prime at 26, is Real Betis, right? And then Runarsson goes to some team I probably wouldn't even find on Football Manager, and then. Nelson's gone out on loan. I think that's a positive. I think he needs some game time.
He needs to go. Yeah.
Yeah. So
sorry, Lev.
Go on, man.
Can I just quickly give you? There's breaking news.
You've got breaking news, yeah?
Yeah, Jacques has tested positive.
For what?
Corona.
All right.
No, I just saw it.
What other conditions are there?
Mate, there's loads of things you could. There's loads of things you could be. There's loads of things you could be tested positive for. I mean, you go to a clinic for these things, So
listen, this is causing a bit of a problem, this positive test. And we've got quite a lot of that at Arsenal.
Well, to be honest, isn't he banned for the next game though?
Is it free?
Three games.
It's great red. Yeah.
So I mean, really and truthfully, does it really matter?
Not really, but I'm just a bit concerned that how come we've got this worse than others?
Man can't catch someone on the pitch, but he can catch COVID. That
at least we know when Arsenal won't get it because he can't catch nothing, can he? So he'd be fine.
Well, so there
Sorry,
you go.
Carry on.
No, that's fine, man. That was all right. He's got COVID. He's got a red card. Man can't catch a break. I guess I don't know, but like it is what it is.
Well, we'll wish him speedy recovery.
Yeah, we do wish him a speedy recovery. I'm sure he'll be fine. He's got the best doctors and medical staff around him. But I wish you all the best, Xhaka. Try and stay on your feet next time. In the meantime, we're going to go to the lows, yeah? Unless anyone wants to touch on anything they might have heard.
No, I was going to say, Lev, just a quick one.
Go on, bro. That's what you're here for, man.
It's not obviously it's non-Arsenal related, but a big, massive. I have to give a high point for me. Raul Jimenez of Wolves. I mean, for him to be playing football again, to me, is a miracle. I saw an interview with him. I think it was in the Guardian, and they told him, he said, "You're lucky to be alive, let alone play football again," because it was a horrific. It's like a fractured skull, broken bone, bleeding to the brain. He came back to training. I think full training March this year, and he did make a funny quote.
The Czech thing, injury.
I don't know what I think. So I think Czech had a fracture. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he did because he had to wear that.
Yeah. But no, massive shout to Raul Jimenez. I remember he said a quote that he said training's been brilliant. He felt like the best player in the world because no one was allowed to tackle him.
Oh mate,
So
that's what Arsenal in training, isn't it? I think Arsenal players think they're the best in the world because no one tackles them, and then they go out on the pitch on a Saturday, get tackled, and think, "Oh, I don't like this. Oh, I can't be bothered with this. I don't like it." So maybe they've got the same problem.
Massive shout to massive.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That was horrendous. That injury as well, wasn't it? When it happened, it was awful, wasn't it?
That's a massive point, Albert. And they're like, taking it outside of the Arsenal arena, that's fine. He's another high point. At least that is a massive high point. It's bigger than football coming back from an injury like that. So well said, mate. Well said. So we're going to crack on to the lows, and you guys in the chat, give us your points. If you want us to discuss anything whilst we're here, highs and lows, chuck them over to us. Yeah. If we're missing anything that you think is an important matter, high or a low, chuck it in the chat, and we'll see if we got the time to discuss it. So I'm going to start with the lows because I'm going to be a bit cheeky because I can, because I make sure that I get my low in case you guys have got it as well. I'm just being selfish. I'm being selfish, and that's me. But the low,
your show, man. You do what you want. It's your show.
Cheers, guys. Cheers. So I'm going with the low first. Media coverage of Arsenal. That is my low. There could have been a whole load of different things, but there's so many points with the media coverage in regards to us right now. It's a joke. And it's like, I was saying this the other day, it's like, do you know that wounded animal in the pack, in the jungle or in the wild, and that one that falls back and then from the rest of the pack, which is what we're doing at the bottom of the table right now, and everyone's starting to circle us, like hyenas, and they're just loving it. They can pounce on us. Now, I mean, there's a couple of examples. I'm going to try and pronounce this correctly because I've got an Iranian brother in the house, and he's going to watch my pronunciation. But is it Kaveh? Kaveh Solahal, Kaveh Solahal from Sky,
Everyone's friends.
This is my first one, right? So Tomiyasu gets announced, right? So suddenly we've done something. We've gone and got a right back. Now I'm not going to lie and say we knew who this guy was. When I saw Tomiyasu, I was wondering who is he, right? This guy suggests that he's so important that Tomiyasu's agent, doesn't know enough. He doesn't know enough about the market that he's in as an agent. No. He's got to call Carve. He's got to call him and ask him if he knows any other clubs that are looking for a right back. Are you kidding me? Do you really expect us to believe this story? That is one of the biggest load of bullshit, and I'm going to say that word, bullshit, I've heard. And that is a clear attempt to rile us. Then we had somebody on TalkSport, can't remember his name, just after it was announced that Bellerin will go to Betis, and it looks like we're getting Tomiyasu. I think Fabrizio had announced that it was pretty much a done deal. This guy from TalkSport comes in, all of a sudden, he says, with a couple of hours left before the window closes, hey, it's not done yet. There's it's not. He was suggesting there was potential complications. You heard that, Albert? No, right. Yeah. And then obviously you had the lead up with TalkSport with Jamie O'Hara and all that. Then you got Danny Mills today. Danny Mills apparently was quoted at one point saying Ben White was too good to come to Arsenal, and now he's stating he's not sure why we signed Ben White and if he's good enough, which is another one. And then obviously a bit further on, a week or so ago, or a few days ago, after the City game, you had the news regarding the away fans. Apparently, they were celebrating a goal, against.
Don't start Richard off, man! Don't start Richard off. He's going to go into one now.
Listen, this is not me judging anybody. I'm just saying, in general,
what's been coming here.
The media coverage is blatantly out there to try and bait us, because they know we have a presence in social media. They know that we're struggling right now. They know that we're a wounded animal right now. And it seems like everyone is enjoying it. Everyone. So for me, the biggest low point for me at the moment, Gary Neville as well today came out on the news suggesting he didn't know what direction we had and all that. And he's probably got a few points, but you can argue, you can see the direction. Whether we agree with it or not is another matter, right? But we can see the direction is clearly youth. Otherwise, we would have gone and got, Trippier.
Established. Yeah.
And then one a few weeks back where you had Neville, Keane, and Carragher. And the other thing is our representatives that we put out as fan representatives is a bit questionable at times. And again, I think there's stool pigeons placed to rile us fans. Because, I've got no problem with the people that were in there answering the questions. But come on, you can have better, more knowledgeable people answering these questions with such people like the Nevilles and Carragers of this world.
Yeah,
again, we were made to look like buffoons.
Yeah,
so I'm chucking that out there. Yes, you can go first.
Listen,
I'm chucking it out there. There you go, media.
This is obviously media, right? So media is all about attention. What's hot right now? What's good right now, right? And right now, Arsenal and Arsenal fans is something that will get you attention. Like, listen, it's TalkSport. They come out and they talk rubbish about Arsenal, right? The number of Arsenal fans that they will retweet the clip or they will tag them, even to have a go at them. Right, that's what that does for them. That's what they want, right? So now Carver, it's a bit difficult for me to go have a go at him. He's my fellow Iranian man, but
no, man, have a go at him. You can get away with it.
He's come out and
when he give him some Iranian as well.
No, listen, when he's saying the news, right? He's got actually a smug on his face. As if
he's a racist.
Actually, you guys are idiots because this is what. No, it's not like that. They're trying to get clicks. And in terms of the representation of the fans, obviously, we don't send these things, these guys out to represent us. Sky Sports looks at it, right? They see, right, what's good right now, right? Yeah. So there's a lot of fans having a go at AFTV, right? There's a lot of fans, Arsenal fans saying, "No, AFTV this, AFTV that," right? So what do? Let's get Ty, right, to come on there and people, because they know. Right, Ty will go all the way to back Arsenal, all the way. So they guaranteed a conversation with Ty that Ty will 100%, defends Arsenal no matter what you're saying,
and they're going to have Roy Keane and Carragher. They probably know before the show starts that, we're going to, this Ty, is a bit of a character. Just make sure, you antagonize him a little bit to get a conversation. And then I saw on the transfer window as well, they get Pippa on to talk about Arsenal. Again, I don't have any problem with Pippa. I don't have any problem with Ty. I don't even know these guys to have a problem with them. I've never even spoken to them. So it's going to be wrong of me to say, this and that. No, but if you're going to get Pippa to come and talk about Arsenal, maybe approach Arsenal Supporters Trust. I'm not their biggest fans.
So you're saying broaden the fan base that you're talking to.
Listen, there's a lot of people. I will put Lee Judges there. I will say approach Lee.
But he's AFTV though. Yeah. Hugh Wizzy. Hugh Wizzy.
Tom. You want to talk TV? More. Right. Approach these guys as well. Don't, because they have. I don't recall Sky Sports approaching anybody except AFTV guys. I know there's a relationship there, and that's fine. It's not a problem. I know a lot of people here, and this may sound wrong. I know a lot of people are against AFTV and this and that, but for me, it's not easy to make a YouTube channel. Robbie has worked hard to create what he has. Now, whether he's doing the right thing or the wrong thing, that's secondary, right? But if you're going to approach these guys, approach other fans as well. Arsenal Supporters Trust, they're recognized. As I said, I'm not their biggest fans. They sometimes they're very questionable, but approach them for a view, man. Go outside the stadium, interview fans that are walking past. Okay, so that's only my criticism of them. And you know what? I don't really know about this singing business that was happening about.
Apparently, what was tweeted out.
I was watching the game, right? I saw the guy that was from BT. He said Arsenal fans are celebrating Man City's fourth goal. I heard him saying that, right? But apparently the fans were not singing that, and obviously AFTV, they made a mistake. They put a tweet out that was not the case. They made a mistake, and unfortunately they upset a lot of people, including this young man Richard sitting here, and it turned into a big thing. And then Sky Sports, they look at this and they'll be like, what? Let's get someone from AFTV because it's going to cause a stir.
They do that deliberately, though. That's what we're saying, isn't it? We're not. Very quickly, super chat there was Guna.
Yeah, but he hasn't said anything. Thanks.
Just gave me £1 to go and get myself a packet of crisps or a bottle of water. Thanks, mate. Thanks for your support. Basically, what we're suggesting is also, in a funny way, AFTV are being used because they're being used because they know the fan base is divided right now, right? So anything that AFTV is involved with, the fan base, half the fan base are going to go against. And it only takes something like a mistake like that for them to jump on. And the problem I'm having is this divided fan base is kind of what's allowed what's going on right now. I'm going to save Rich till last because I know he's chomping at the bit with this one. I'm going to save. He looks like I'll leave. Albert, you've heard what I've brought to the table. You heard what Shaheen's saying with regards to the AFTV. Not just forget just AFTV, just media in general. I don't want it to make it about AFTV. This is more about the media and the way they're baiting us at the moment. And even the Paddy Power advert that we saw the other day, we've become a bit of a laughing stock at the moment.
Well, Cheshire Police Force, Cheshire Police Force trolling.
We're getting trolled by the police. Like, this is becoming a bit of a joke. And a lot of this is down to the board and the club in the background. But Albert, what do you have to say about, this is already, we've already spent 10, 15 minutes on this. Go.
Yeah, because it's a wide ranging topic, man. It is, for me, like you've touched on it anyway, in terms of I've never supported Arsenal in my lifetime and seen, it's beyond banter for me. Yes, social media encourages that, but to me, it goes beyond that sometimes. You make a good point in terms of fan representation. Listen, I don't have a problem with certain fan channels. If maybe I might not necessarily agree with their views about certain things, but you make a good point about the fan debate thing. And I did watch it. I watched it. I put off watching it, but I did watch it. But I kind of sat there watching it through my hand, looking at it through my hands. I was thinking, because I just didn't know what he was going to say. But no, I do like. You're right. You're right, Liz. I just think, in terms of the fan base, in terms of they're very clever in terms of the social media aspect, because They have these people that work on their Twitter accounts, for example. They know what's hot. They know who they want on already. You mentioned some good names that are, for example, big YouTubers who, why not? Why have we not seen them on the mainstream media? But it's a tough one, man, because the club, unfortunately, have been a feeder to rival football fans, and with the growth of social media, I mean, we are a laughing stock, man. It's embarrassing, to be honest with you. And as Arsenal fans, what can we do in terms of having a comeback? We can't, because we're bottom of the league, man. Like, I've never seen that in my lifetime. No one's seen it, I don't think.
No. This is the worst period in my 35 plus years as an Arsenal fan. This is definitely my worst period. I mean, Rich is probably going to say something different. He's wearing a shirt that I could barely remember, but still, I'm saying it is the worst. Definitely, Albert. But mate, I just think
you brought up a good point. You brought up a good point with the media. It's in terms of, you make the key thing for it is the reputation. It's the representation. Sorry, in terms of broadening it out, in terms of hearing from other fans. I mean, that's not up to us. Sky make the decision. They have people on Twitter that monitor these things. Yes, they have a relationship with AFTV, for example, but whether they're actually going to broaden it out, time will tell. Even to the point that I'm surprised in terms of Robbie's, the amount of appearances he's made on TalkSport, for example, because you're almost sort of going in there knowing what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and he got caught a couple of times, didn't he?
No, but do you remember that Ray Parlour thing? They knew exactly what they were doing. That's why Robbie went there. And I felt sorry for Robbie that day, I must say, because they did him dirty. And
it was just before, I think, the protest, and it could have started all sorts of problems as well.
See, this is what I'm saying. Then they know what they're doing. What is it that would and we're a big fan base. Look, listen. Now it's funny to troll Arsenal. That's why you get, Cheshire Police Force, they have no business trolling Arsenal on the Twitter. But because it's funny, people look at, it's not, and it's not nice as an Arsenal fan. I don't want to, I'm not used to this. We used to troll everybody else.
But that's got a long time ago.
We didn't have much social media when we were doing well, did we? So trolling wasn't.
I'm sure Richard has got, because I know Richard's been going back and forth on Twitter about this. And
we're going to go to Richard very quickly before we go to Richard. That thing you mentioned about what happened to Robbie and the protest, that we were there, Shaheen, right? Yeah. And we saw Lee Judges almost get attacked. We saw Robbie getting hounded, and that was really irresponsible by Ray that day. But anyway, Rich, I know you're chomping at the bit. You've heard about this whole media thing. Go.
I mean, for me, the whole media against Arsenal isn't a new thing. It's been going on since the 1930s when we were winning the league every year.
I don't remember that, Rich.
Well, I don't remember it personally, but I've seen stuff from the papers.
I'm joking.
There, and and they were saying that Arsenal were lucky because we used to maybe play on a counter attack and win games 1-0 away from home. We bought our way to winning the league because we'd spent the most money, and the media have been against Arsenal since then. And maybe it goes back even further than that, possibly, since we kind of bribed our way into the first division all them years ago. I don't know whether that's where it's come from. But I don't know. There's always been a media bias against Arsenal. It used to be the written media, obviously. Do you remember that thing with George Graham back in, was it the season when we got them points deducted? And he made that speech, didn't he, saying everyone's against us, the media hate us. And that was in 1990. So it's not a new thing.
Brilliant management, that, by the way.
Yeah, no, it was. It was fantastic. I mean, he was fantastic, wasn't he, George? He knew what he was doing. But it's not a new thing, is it? And social media's put it more into focus now because obviously there's a lot more media out there. There's YouTube channels, there's social media, there's Sky now, on 24 hours a day. They have to have something to talk about. And Arsenal are a big subject. The reason why we're a big subject is because we are still, and always will be, one of the biggest clubs in the country, in Europe, in the world, possibly, right? And nobody's going to troll Man City or Chelsea because no one cares about them clubs. People care about Arsenal because we're important and we mean a lot. So it's a negative to a degree, but it's also a positive because it shows how big a club we are and it shows how important we are to the world of football, because no one would be jumping on all over us at every single opportunity if we was meaningless. You won't see any other club getting the amount of stick that we get, and there's a reason for that. because we're a massive club and we're in London, and everything, those two things I think combine, and that's why everybody's against us.
But Rich,
Which in a way,
isn't it kind of our fault though, mate? Sorry to interrupt, but I mean, we're saying no one's trolling Man City and Chelsea at the moment, but why would you troll them? They're doing well. I mean, Chelsea just won the Champions League. Man City just won the Premier League. Why would you troll them? We're getting trolled because we are ashamed right now.
No, I don't mean necessarily now. I mean, Chelsea was sold for £1. You know what I mean? They were relegated. Man City were in League One. They wasn't getting trolled when I was in League One because nobody cared. And if they went back down to League One in 10 years' time, nobody will care again because they're an irrelevant club in the overall scheme of the history of football. Nobody cares enough about them. Arsenal's important, so people want to troll Arsenal. The minute we lose one game, this is going back years, we've got abuse for losing one game. And at the moment, it's easy, I agree. We're our own worst enemies at the minute. We're wide open to being bantered by everybody because of our, the performances on the pitch and what we've been doing the last few years. But this was going on when we were winning trophies. The media bias against us, and maybe that leads to the referee bias you mentioned before, possibly. Because people kind of get in. Referees, as we said before, they're human. They read them. They listen to the media. They get that impression of Arsenal, and maybe that turns them against Arsenal a little bit. I'm not really sure if we can connect them, possibly, but this isn't a thing that's going on just because now we're not doing very well. This was going on when we were successful as well. Even when we was the invincible team that the media were looking to knock us at every single opportunity that they could. And it will happen again, when we turn this around and we get back to the top of football, which we will at some stage, we'll still be knocked by the media, and we'll still have, every single defeat for Arsenal is a big deal to everybody, which to me, I kind of quite like that, because I would hate to be an irrelevant club that nobody cared about, and it's good that we are so important to everybody. Every single club in England has got an opinion on Arsenal, and that's, I say yes now because of the social media stuff and AFTV and all that kind of stuff, but also this isn't just now. You know what I'm saying? This has been going on as long as I can remember. As long as I can remember, this is what it's been like for Arsenal. And yes, sometimes it's you look at it and you think it's relentless and it's over the top and it's not necessary, and as you rightly mentioned, it's led to other issues as well. But ultimately, it's because of who we are. And, I know Mill will have that song, don't they? Nobody likes us, this, that, and the other. But ultimately, that song should be our song, because that's always been the way it is. Apart from Arsenal fans, everybody else hates Arsenal, and they always have done. The media, other fans, everybody. We don't get, other clubs, say, for example, Liverpool. Liverpool, I think a lot of people admire Liverpool, like Liverpool, whether they're a Liverpool fan or not. Man United as well. That, these are the other big clubs in England, and they've got a lot of support from everywhere. The media loves them. Everybody loves them. Arsenal, nobody loves them. Everybody hates Arsenal. They always have done. And I don't really know why.
Nobody loves us, and that's it. Very quick super chat here from Paul Geyer. Thank you for your support, mate. Do you see us playing 3-4-3 with Tomiyasu joining? It's a bit of a subject change, but very quickly, I will say, from what I was told by the guy, the data analyst, Adam from Le Grove, with his stats and his figures, he thinks that might be happening. We'll keep an eye on that. But thank you, Paul, for your support. So we've spent quite a lot of time on this, Lo. I told you it's a big subject. We can keep going on it. But I mean, there was a Merson saying a few things as well. But we'll hold that and see if we've got enough time.
Can I just clarify something? Because I saw some people say, I actually don't have any problems with Pippa. She comes across a lovely girl.
No, not at all.
I'm not saying why is she good or why is Ty going there. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm just saying approach other people as well.
Representation.
That's what I was saying.
We're saying the fan base is huge.
I'm sure she's nice. There's no point for me to do that. It's going to be silly of me.
It would just be nice to hear a broader, I think what we're saying, a broader spectrum of opinions, rather than keeping it to that same thing that's divisive. And that's all we're getting at. AFTV have done amazing, got no issues with them. So we're going to go to the next low. And who should I go for first? Who wants to go next for the low? Anyone?
Go on, Rich.
I'll go.
Shaheen. Shaheen's put his hand up. So go, Shaheen. What's your low, man?
For me, it's the transfer window that, for me, is a low because I'm underwhelmed by everything that has been done. I don't think for the money that we've spent, because apparently we spent the most in Europe, right? We don't have anything to show for it. There's an argument to say we're weaker than last season. And I know yesterday I was speaking to Lev, and at the same time, Paul Merson was talking about Arsenal, and he said something that is true. And he said the players that Arsenal go in for, it's just Arsenal. Nobody else goes for them.
Very true.
This right back comes out of nowhere. Don't know.
Well, apparently Spurs were in for him, though, no?
Yeah, I did hear that. Really.
Listen, I don't even know nothing about him. I haven't even heard of him till yesterday. Maybe
your boy Carver knew about it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Like 50 million pounds on Ben White. I hope all of these players they come true and they come true with flying colours. But from what I've seen of Ben White so far, I'm not sure if that's the guy that is going to come and make a difference to the defense straight away, and we're going to shore things up. The signings that they were made, there's an argument to say they're not for now. They're for future. All of them. The only one that I'll give them credit for is Ramsdale, because it's actually an upgrade on what we had as a backup keeper. So for me...
Not many people said that, by the way. They were all like, why are we buying him?
Yeah, I'm underwhelmed. And I'm not... I don't know. You see, it's supposed to get the fans excited for the season coming, and I'm not. I don't know if it's me, but I'm not.
No, it's not you, bro. It's not you, bro.
No.
So
I mean, what you got to think of is, right, I think our transfer window, what we've done is we've bought a lot of, as we know, young players, which may well be good players in 2 or 3 years' time. Now, that is a transfer window policy for a club that's successful, got great players that are maybe just getting past their peak, and you're getting them in now to replace them in a year or two's time. When you finish 8th in the league 2 years in a row, what you need to do is you need to put 2 or 3 experienced players straight in that team that can improve your first 11, and then we can push on. At the moment, this season, we're not going to push on. We haven't improved our team, not now, not for the here and now. We may well improve it in 2 or 3 years' time, but Arteta won't be there in 2 or 3 years' time to see this through anyway. And then a new manager will come in. They'll want their own players, and this whole project will be binned. You know, it's ridiculous.
That's exactly my argument, Richard. Because I'm saying, right, you finish poorly out of Europe. The club is on a decline.
Yeah,
the team is not good enough, right? So what do? You obviously have the money to go spend because they've spent it. You go out there and you bring in quality to make your team, your squad better, right?
Well, wouldn't we have been better? But wouldn't we have been better if we're going to spend 150 million? Wouldn't we be better off spending 150 million on 2 really good top quality players to come into midfield and attack that would have transformed the team rather than spending it on 6 kids that may or may not be good?
I agree, Richard, but I'm also looking around and some deals. For example, Chelsea signed Saul yesterday on loan.
I know. I was like, wow.
On loan.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm thinking, why? Why can't is Jaco better than him? Is Elneny better than him? No, forget all of that, right? From the beginning of the window, right? Basuma is flying the flag. Come and get me, Arsenal. I want to come. My man is wearing an Arsenal shirt, right? But we I don't know. We're thinking, no, we don't really fancy you, mate, because what we have is actually better than you, and we don't go for it. So, as I said, the money that is spent and the quality that has been brought in are 2 different things, and I worry because I worry about the manager. Sometimes you got an average squad and you got a top manager that will get the best out of them, right? We don't really have that right now, and you're right. These players are for the futures. Great, really good, fantastic. But we're not really in a place right now to be able to afford to buy for future. We need to buy for now.
Let us know your thoughts in the chats about the transfer window. What would you mark it out of 10? Let us know. Someone has made a good point here, yeah? Ben White is an upgrade on Holding. Ramsdale's an upgrade on Leno. Tomiyasu is an upgrade on Bellerin. And Lukonga is an upgrade on Xhaka. Could we argue that?
Yes.
Yeah. I think we can argue that.
Lukonga is a very, very young man, Lev, who's just.
But is he not better than Xhaka even now?
No.
You don't think so?
I'm sorry. You know what? Granit Xhaka is not the worst player in the world, right? Maybe he's not suited to us.
He's the worst player for the Prem.
But Lukonga, if you look at it through the season, I don't think Lukonga you can say he's better than Granit Xhaka.
Tomiyasu better than Bellerin?
I don't know the guy. I've never seen him play. I don't know. I'm not.
Well, apparently Chambers is better than Bellerin. So,
well, listen. This guy. You know what? We've not historically we have not done well with Japanese signings. So maybe it will change now. I don't know this guy to say he's better than them. But
those were shirt sale signings, weren't they? Let's be honest.
I don't know, bro. Ramsdale is better than Leno. Maybe on par.
Toss a
Yeah,
coin.
what we've got to ask ourselves is, right, is Lokonga going to play ahead of Xhaka this season? No, he's not. He's a backup player. Is Ramsdale going to play ahead of... I agree. I think Ramsdale's our best signing, actually, because I think he's going to be a top goalkeeper, and he's 23. We could have him for 10 years, right? I think that's a good signing.
Good debut as well. Good debut. I liked his debut.
But will he be number one? No, Leno's still going to be number one. So if they're better or they're not better, they're not going to be playing in the team very regularly because they've been bought as backup. And that's all we've done. We've bought backup players for players that aren't good enough in the first place, some of them, and we've bought backups for them. I mean, it's a mental window. And that's the most we've ever spent ever in a transfer window. And we've bought nobody, really. Not nobody that's going to come in and improve our first team straight away, which is what we need. We're bottom of the league. We need players that are going to improve 2 or 3 years' time. I don't care about that. I want us to be good this season or better this season than we were last season. And nothing makes me look at this transfer window and think, yes, we're going to be better this season because we've got the same midfield and the same forwards as we had last season that couldn't score, couldn't create anything, and we haven't improved that area. We bought a couple of defenders who may or may not be better. We had the 3rd best defensive record in the league last year. That wasn't a priority area to, whatever we think of Holding, whatever we think of Chambers are not good enough. We know that. But last season, maybe David Luiz helped with his experience. But that's the thing, isn't it? We've sold or got rid of experience and brought in kids. Where's the experience? Where's the leaders in that team now? When we're losing a game, as you clearly saw on Saturday, and when you look at it, right, when we've got 2 or 3 injuries in this squad in key positions in midfield and up front, we are struggling big time. We are a poor team, right? If everybody's fit, our first 11 are fit, or the first 11 that we would maybe pick are fit, we'd probably be okay. We may finish 8th, 7th, 6th possibly, but we're not going to have that because it's a 38-game league season. We're going to have players missing, and if we get a couple of injuries up front, a couple of injuries in midfield, and one of our better defenders out, we've had it. We aren't going to win a game. And that's a problem because we haven't addressed those issues. We haven't improved what we had last season. And last season was our worst league season for a number of years in the performances, the home defeats and everything else. What have we done to put that right? Nothing at all. And yes, it's a policy that the club have, and people have said to me, and I don't know whether or not you guys agree, that these are players Arteta has picked, right? We don't know if he has or not, or whatever it is. But if Arteta's looked at our team last season and thought, this is what we need a bunch of young kids to come in. If he's thought that, he's not the right man to take this club forward. Because
we're sitting at the bottom of the table, so I don't think he's the right man anyway.
Well, no, he's not. But even just on that alone, if he's picked these players and thought that we've got 150 million to spend, let's get a load of kids in. If he's thought that, he should be out the door now. He shouldn't even still be here. If Edu's thought that, he should be out the door as well. That's not what we need. We needed what we've got rid of David Luiz experience, Willian experience, whether they were good players or not, it's irrelevant, right? What experience have we got in this squad now? We've got a bunch of 21, 22-year-olds who've got very little experience. Even Ben White, 50 million. He's had 1 season in the Premier League and he was okay for Brighton, but that's it. 1 season we paid 50 million.
Good point.
He's not a leader. He's 23 years old. You know what I mean? And I'm baffled. Phil Neville made a point to a certain degree. You can see the process of it by a load of young players, but that's not what we need. Yeah. Not what we need right now. We needed experienced players that can come in and improve the team, and we haven't got that. People saying, "Oh, we've got Odegaard." We had Odegaard last season. We still couldn't score goals.
Rich, I could see this has riled you, man. I could see it, and it was Gary Neville. But yeah, 100%. It's definitely
Gary Neville. Yeah, sorry.
This has riled you more than the media thing. You've gone into one there, like serious.
Well, because we've spent the most money. We've never spent this amount of money before, and you want to be excited because we've gone out and spent money. We've been crying out for years. Spend money, spend money. The owners, everyone, get the cronkies out. Well, they spent money, but they spent money. Whoever's decided to buy these players, they've made the wrong decisions.
Well, look, this has been our problem. That's why we've got that dross sitting in our squad that we can't get rid of. Albert, we have to move it on. We've got to move it on. You've heard what Sheen's had to say. You've heard Rich's rant. That's going to be a new one. Could be a new show, Rich's rant. Albert, what do you have to say before we move on to one of your lows?
It's kind of, mine was kind of touching on Shaheen's, but mine was a bit more in terms of, how can I put it nicely if I can?
Don't hold back, man. Don't hold back.
No, transfer deadline day, I was thinking, let me get out my calculator, let's see how much Arsenal can bring in terms of players going out. You just look at it, boys. You just think Nelson's gone out on loan. Maitland-Niles somehow, unbelievably, is staying after all this time. Bellerin on loan. Willian contract terminated. Guendouzi loan. Torreira loan. Even people telling me, I was at work during the day yesterday about the Nketiah deal possibly going to Palace. and the reason why it fell through was because of the personal terms.
Same with Kolasinac. Same with Kolasinac, by the way. He wanted 3 million signing on fee, I heard.
I mean, I don't know what it is with our football club that we cannot seem to recuperate any money. And again, this window is a reflection of that. I mean, you take away Joe Willock, he brought in nothing. I mean, the Nketiah thing, I don't understand. I'll tell you why. Because you can say what you want about Patrick Vieira as a manager since he's been in this coaching role, right? But you don't want to go and play for Patrick Vieira and get first team.
I can answer that.
Go on, bro.
If I may.
Go
on. I think this has happened because Nketiah, right, has got 1 year left on his contract. Okay, so he will stand to get more money from January because he will get a sign-on fee straight in his pocket, right? He can get a better salary, right, because there is no more fees. So his agent might have told him, right, listen, Arsenal have accepted the bet, that's fine, but this is what we want, Palace, which might have been quite a lot. And Palace would be like, no, we're not fancying it anymore. But Nketiah from January can speak to clubs and say, right, listen, I want £2 million signing on fee, which is straight in his pocket. I want a better salary because you're not paying me paying Arsenal any fee anymore. So I think this is why he failed to agree terms. That's my opinion.
No,
so it's all about the Benjamins, basically.
Yeah. But I just think I look at it, and not even obviously I'm going by what I've seen in the transfer window this time of Arsenal, but it's just symptomatic, and I'm just tired of it, man. Like I can't understand how we're so poor under different regimes in terms of hierarchy. By the way, not just so we can't just solely put it on Edu and Arteta, but I mean, even I look at the transfer window as a whole. Someone asked me, what do I give it out of 10? And I said, if I'm being polite, I'll give it 6 out of 10. And the only reason why I give it 6 is because we got in a replacement left back and we've eventually got in a right back, which I didn't see coming, to be honest with you. But, you know, people talk about Arteta needs time and needs his players. You look at the players that have come in since he's been there. Gabriel, Partey, Mari, Ramsdale, Tavares, Ben White, Lokonga, Tomiyasu, Martin Odegaard. People say we've got players missing, but you think about it, we saw Man City game, we thought, hold on a minute. Leno played, Bamyang played, ESR played, Xhaka played, Saka played. And you think, well, all right, Thomas Partey is a big miss, but the excuses run out, and I just think it's a culmination for me. I don't think it's a particularly very good window. I get the whole thing about profile of player in youth, but we was already playing catch-up. But even with the window we've already had, we're still playing catch-up. I mean, I look at even our business. People talk about, it's only pre-season, it's only September. But I even look at someone like Leicester's transfer window. Vestergaard, Bertrand, Patson Dakos, Bubukari Samor, Lookman on loan. You don't have to spend billions to have an efficient transfer window.
They've got a great scouting system.
Yeah.
Great.
So what Arsenal's excuse? I just don't. So yeah, it's for me.
Can I just add to what you say now? But just before Lev, I've sent you something on WhatsApp. Can you put it on? Can you put it on the?
Is it suitable to show on?
It is. It's in support of what Albert is saying.
Oh, do you want me to send it in? I'll try and get it onto the screen.
Yeah, see if you can put it on the screen. And in support of what Albert is saying, next season, right? Nketiah will walk away for free. Alexander Lacazette will walk away for free. Yeah. So one of them is a product of our youth, which we could have made money on, right? And we've left it so late that the guy is not signing, and then he's just going to walk away for free next season. And Lacazette, how much did we spend on Lacazette that he's going to walk away for free? And there are many, many more examples that we spend millions, big money. Mustafi, Ozil, Socrates, Sanchez, all of these big monies we spend on players, and they're walking away for free. Which is in support of what it's astonishing. Astonishing.
It's flabbergasting. It's shocking. I mean, like I said, you take away the Willock transfer, we've brought in nothing. I mean,
the ones that Albert comes to mind is Willock, that we got good money. Iwobi,
and
Oxlade-Chamberlain,
and that's over a period of years.
Yeah, and these are the three that comes to my mind. Please remind me if there's any more.
Overmars. That's going back a long way. Yeah.
Overmars and Petit, and Anelka as well. 25 million.
Overmars, Anelka,
So there was a time we'd get players like and sell them for far more, and that was during Wenger's early
because we had a
years.
scouting system, we had things in place, but right now they sacked all the scouts. They changed. They trying to change the club, but the people who trying to change the system that always worked unexperienced themselves.
I got your thing, Shaheen. There you go, mate.
So this is actually in support of what Albert is saying, right? So Ramsdale, right, signed by Arteta. Tierney given contract by Arteta. Gabriel signed by Arteta. Ben White signed by Arteta. This new guy signed by Arteta. Thomas Partey, Arteta. Odegaard, Arteta. Xhaka given a new contract. Emil Smith-Rowe given a new contract. Aubameyang given a new contract. Saka begin. So they're all Arteta influenced. So this excuse of he needs to get his team, he needs to get, this is exactly what Albert is saying. It's done. It's finished.
So it is his team, really. You could argue the case. So there's no more excuses left for this guy, right?
And just to add to that, a bit left field as well. I hear people say about not even just this season, to be fair, boys. Arsenal's had a tough run of fixtures. I'm like, hold on a minute, hold on. Let me get this right. We are not a club that's come up from the Championship playing against the big boys. We've been a regular fixture in the Premier League since its existence, going back to the old First Division. What are you talking about? What's it got to do with the fixtures?
Right. We have two difficult fixtures.
Yeah, it's to me, it's excuses.
Albert, we've argued this case on this show, for quite some time, because at the end of the day, we're never ready for any season start, are we? Think about it. How many seasons have we gone in to big games? It's usually a Liverpool at home, a City away, and we never have
not ready.
We never have our players ready. We never have our new signings ready. We never have our new signings finished. And yes, love Rami, it is live, mate. Why would we lie about it being live? We're never ready. That's what I said. If we were Battery, we'd be called Never Ready. I've said it before. We just. I don't understand it. How is our preparation so poor?
It's right, isn't it? I mean, we shouldn't make excuses that we've got tough games, should we? I mean, it wasn't that long ago when the toughest game anyone had was playing Arsenal. So, we can't look on, Man City, they're a good side. Chelsea, they're a good side. But these are the sort of teams that we should be able to compete with, at least. I'm not saying beat them necessarily every time.
Rich, sorry, to quickly add to that, just to finish up on my point.
Yeah.
The thing that frustrates me in terms of where we don't recuperate money, no disrespect to these three players I'm going to mention, right? But I'm just using it as examples. They come into my head. Manchester United got £25 million for Daniel James. Chelsea got £34 million for Abraham. £28 million plus for Kurt Zuma.
How much did Liverpool get for Brewster a season or two?
27 million.
Well? Yeah.
What's the something is fundamentally wrong
Albert,
at this football club.
This is when you have inexperienced people. At
exactly.
This is what happens. You got your manager Vinay. I don't even know where he came from, right? Edu,
Olympics.
Manager,
he had the Olympics background.
The owners, poor lack of knowledge of football, but they've employed people who've come to do this job, and they're not doing a good job either. Remember Raul Sanelli? Listen, I've always used this on different shows as an example, right? How poor Arsenal's financial affairs are, that my man, right, on the transfer of Nicolas Pepe, first of all, we got our pounds pulled down 70 million pounds, right? Yeah. And then 10 million pounds went missing. That's why he got sacked, right? 10 million pounds went nowhere. So they kept it quiet. They sacked him because it's embarrassing.
And 27 million's gone to Marseille.
In any football club.
27 million's playing at Marseille right now. Hold on, we got super chat from our season ticket holder, Wayne Sage. How you doing, bro? And again, thank you so much for your support. Your opinions and your viewpoints are always valued. He says, so for Arsenal fans, it's about the names and not about the ability of the players.
100%.
Over 14 games, Odegaard created more chances, had one less goal, one less assist than Maddison. But Odegaard isn't good enough. No, I'm not saying Odegaard's not good enough. I think he's a good addition to our midfield. I just think we should get rid of the likes of El Neni and replace it with someone better, I don't know. We said it before.
You know what? Sorry, Lev. There's one player I can't believe that is still at Arsenal after all these years is El Neni.
Yeah,
more than anybody.
I'd rather have Ainsley Maitland-Niles playing at DM than El Neni. That's where I go.
Lucas Torreira, mate.
Yeah, Wayne Sage again. Thank you again, bro. So we are complaining that Arsenal can't sell players, then complain that we kept Xhaka because we couldn't accept 12 million for him. Listen, I would have taken 5 million for Xhaka. I don't, personally, and this is not me being bad towards Xhaka. I just don't think he's the right fit for us. He's great in the Euros. He's great at a slower pace. But look, we've got a limited amount of time, and I don't think have we had Richards low yet? We haven't, have we? We've been ranting for so long.
Just before you go to Richard, I just want to say I actually think Odegaard is overrated.
Well, we'll soon find out. I think he's a good, tidy player that we could.
I like Odegaard. When we were looking at Odegaard and Maddison, I actually did a video saying that I would rather we bought Odegaard than Maddison. I just thought he was a better fit for Arsenal, and no one said he's not good enough. It's just that he played last season when we finished 8th, so he's not improved us for this season. He's the same player that we had last season, isn't he? And we needed him plus others to improve us. That's what the point I was making.
In the 6 months that I was here, he didn't really do enough for me to say, listen, we need to get this guy in regardless. That's just my view.
All right, guys, we've got 5 minutes to go, So let's go with Richard's low, and let's pound through it. Go, Rich, hit us.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a million different things I could have gone with, but for me, the one thing that really struck me maybe this last week was the Jack Wilshere interview. Actually, out of a contract, nobody wants him. One of the great Arsenal young players to come through our academy system, one of the youngest ever to play in the first team. That great game against Barcelona, he had everything, didn't he? He was a regular in the England squad. And is it just injuries? Was it his lifestyle as well? But to hear him interview and say, he can't get a club, not one club, not even Arsenal won't even let him train. We always used to let our ex-players train with us, didn't we? Robert Pires was training with us, and he was like in his 40s. Do you know what I mean? Yet we won't let Wilshere come and train with us.
We used to let David Beckham train with us.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean. And it's, I think that's shocking from Arsenal not to allow that.
Chunks has trained with us. Chunks has trained with us.
Yeah. No, I mean it's madness, and I think that's bad treatment of a young guy that came through our academy, still only 29. And yes, it's he's got injury issues, and you can understand why some clubs aren't willing to take a chance on him. But I think that at the moment Arsenal should be looking after him. They should be letting him train with the club, and they should be trying to help him get a deal somewhere. If it's not with us, fair enough, but Arsenal should be trying to help him because he's one of our own, as the song goes, and he is. And I feel really, really sorry for him. And that interview was heartbreaking almost, because he clearly wants to play. He knows he can still do a job in the Premier League. I believe he can still do a job for someone in the Premier League, somebody like a Watford or Norwich, a team like that. He could go in there and he could do a decent job for a team like that in the Premier League. He'd probably get in our team at the moment, if we're honest. But I'm not.
Well, it can give us a good 10-15 minutes when you need someone.
Yeah, exactly. And I wouldn't say we should sign him or back or anything like that, but we should certainly be trying to help him, get him in, let him train, and try to help him get a club.
That's a massive point, and one I wasn't expecting, and I think that's a really good point. Personally, he should be in the club somewhere teaching those youngsters coming up, because for me, he had extreme talent, and I think we were at fault for the way we sort of handled him as a youngster for his injuries, because there was a point where Fabregas got injured, and we could have gone out and got someone experienced, and instead we put all our eggs in one basket with Wilshere, and he's the type of player that invites a tackle in, and he's playing against grown-ass men. He's 18 years old, right? And he got injured, and then we rushed him back again, and he got injured again. I think we were at fault for his downfall.
We owe him, don't we? We owe him something.
We do owe him, and I think that's a
Rich is a great shout.
Go on, Albert. You want to comment on the old situation with Wilshere?
No, it's a great shout. You mentioned the point. Some people put in the chat in terms of some of the legends or ex-players that play for Arsenal that have been training at the club. He made the point about David Beckham's came back at points and done training there. So it was a sad interview. And he kind of mentioned about, is there sort of a stigma? There is a stigma attached to him. I'm saying that, by the way, in terms of the injuries, why people won't touch him. Scott Parker wants to go down a different direction at Bournemouth and not take him on. He's 29, I believe, Jack Wilshere. To me, and to be honest, he's for the ability that he's got, you can talk about the injuries, yes, but he should have a club. I mean, there's even slight issues with him training in Italy. He could something about the passport, and you just think, my God, this guy needs a break, man. He needs a break.
Man, he was ridiculous. I watched him from the youth. He was such a top talent. So I'm so gutted the way it's worked out for him. But Shaheen, Wilshere, Your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with the guys, man. It's sad, but it's football. Football is cruel, right? And sometimes these things happen to players. It's just we're talking about it because, as Richard said, he came through our academy. You know, people say, "Oh, he's Arsenal through and through, this and that." Yes, but he also did admit that he's a West Ham fan. He's always been a West Ham supporter, and it is sad to see people like that. But as I said, football is cruel, man. We all see sometimes a nice side of football, but this is also a cruel side of football. He's training in Italy with Como, so I hope that he can maybe secure something in Europe or in Middle East somewhere as one last payday for him.
So look, we're gonna look towards wrapping it up, as Shaheen rightly said. Football's cruel.
Should we rate the transfer window before?
Rate the transfer windows. I'll start 4. Rich.
Yeah, I'm thinking about 3 or 4. I'll maybe go 4 and be slightly optimistic because Ramsdale's a good signing. The young guys will probably be good. Yeah, maybe even 5 then. Perhaps I'll give it 5. Go on.
Jesus, that's more than I expected from you, Rich. Albert.
Yeah, I only gave it the only reason why I gave it a 6 was because we actually got a right back in last minute and we got a left back in Tavares. That's the only reason why I'm giving it a 6. 6.
Shaheen, you look like you're going to give something cruel, as you said. 3.
And it's just because of Ramsdale and just because of Ramsdale, really. Because the rest, I don't know. You know, it's hard for me to comment on a new right back.
Yeah. We're not judging the players. It's just not what we needed right now.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure about Ben White. I'm not Odegaard's biggest fan. This new right back guy, I don't know him, so it's difficult to comment. But yeah, I would say 3. And I'll just suggest something. I've said this previously in the show, but I think going forward, Arsenal should look at a system that will play maybe 2 up front. And I discussed this with Lev. So maybe play 3 at the back, 2 in the wings, 2 in the middle, 1 number 10, and 2 up front, just to give us a little bit of a firepower. So I just wanted to say that, because with the signings, maybe that's something that they should look at.
So what we've gathered from this is football is cruel. Being an Arsenal fan is cruel.
It's hard.
Watching transfer deadline day is cruel.
Everybody hates us.
Everyone hates us. We're just there to moan. That's what this is. This midweek sneak peek or midweek peek is going to be about. Please smash the likes, or even just tap it with your finger gently. I don't care. Just give us a like. Put your comments down below. We're not going to really look at the Norwich game yet because it's a couple of weeks away.
I just want people to comment on a video with your rating of the transfer window.
Comment, and also let us know what you think your starting 11 is going to be. Any subject matters you want us to cover next week. We're going to be doing this weekly. And also, you know, just give us your opinions on what you've heard today. So, guys. Rich, thank you. Your debut, you've broken your duck. You're no longer a virgin. You can come here anytime you want now. It's all good, and it was painless for you, I hope.
No, it was. I enjoy it. I've always enjoyed your channel anyway. Obviously, it's always good to chat to Albert as well. So it's been good. I've enjoyed it, and it's always a pleasure. And hopefully, I'm more than happy to come on anytime you invite me.
Perfect. So let's see what the next week holds and what we're going to be discussing. Albert, mate, it's been a pleasure having you back. As I said, got you on transfer deadline day, and hopefully we'll have you back again next week. How'd you find today's show? All right.
Brilliant, mate. Like I said, I've been on your channel before. I like what you guys do, man. And I'm glad to be part of it, to be honest with you. So I appreciate the networking and the opportunity to come on your platform. So appreciate
That's it, man. Thank you, man. Bless. And Shaheen, do you want to finish off with anything?
I'm good. I've said anything.
Thanks for your feedback, bro. That was really useful. Cheers, bro. All right. So this has been Midweek Peek. I am Lavanja. That's Shaheen. That's Rich from Over and Over Again. Make sure you check out his content. Follow him if you haven't already. Albertjtv has always got great content. Follow him. If you want to have a chat with me, I'm at Lavanja on Twitter. Follow me. Follow us on the Twitter account, Arsenal Lounge Twitter account. Make sure you're on there as well. Smash the like, subscribe if you haven't already. Don't freeload. And Shaheen is going to check us out. Peace out.